Oh my god, we got a second day of Coof updates? It's more or less about policy, okay? And what these retarded companies are either basing their policy on or they're taking a look at it, especially what this humble jab merchant is out here trying to fucking push and being like, no, I think this is all kind of retarded at this point. But according to, remember, this is he's a doctor after all, and definitely not a guy who's probably sat behind a fucking desk for the past decade and a half, but Dr. Paul Burton, the chief medical officer, just like Dr. Anthony Fauci, he's also a chief medical officer, okay, or the equivalent, whatever AIDS has, but he said that Omicron and Delta may strike people at the same time and combine to create an even worse COVID literally super COVID. Even though, and we're not going to read through the rest of this article because at least the Daily Mail has it very nicely summarized in their bullet points right there. The last bullet point, okay? There are very few examples of this happening with COVID overall, so far, scientists say. So you're literally just trying to fearmonger in order to push more jab sales? I don't know. It seems to have worked in Australia where they've sold, I think, 100 million jabs literally recently. So don't worry, that whole definition of, oh, well, maybe we'll go back to take a look and reassess the definition of fully vaccinated to include boosters. It's already happening in the UK, but those are a couple of stories that I didn't include today, mostly because it's like everybody kind of seen that shit coming, so what's the point? But I've seen this. It is just preposterously fucking stupid. It's like, oh, okay, cool. This has never happened before, but all of a sudden you realize that Omicron, oh, we named it so very, very terrifyingly, but it's just a wet fart of a fucking variant. So we're going to have to try to drum up some kind of fear because, oh, my Delta, that still has legs, even though it's like, oh no, Omicron's becoming more prevalent. Ooh, but what are the symptoms of that? Yeah, don't go back and take a look at any of that stuff. Nah, just continue to forge on and make policy decisions like Kroger, you know what, one of the biggest grocers in the United States. They're ending COVID-19 sick leave and benefits for unvaccinated workers, adding a health surcharge. If you don't get the jab, your healthcare premiums are going to have a little tab at the end of them. Okay, this was one of those things that was theorized a few months ago, but now it's getting put into place in a major retailer. But this is as bad as it's going to get. Okay, so don't worry, there's eventually just going to be kind of a good news uptick towards the end of the video, but this is what we're facing. Okay, folks, Kroger is ending certain benefits for unvaccinated workers, but not vaccinated workers, you know, the people who are overwhelmingly contracting the Omicron variant. Fucking uncomfortable truth that you have there. Ending unvaccinated workers' benefits in order to compel its workforce to take the COVID-19 vaccine that is safe and effective. Don't watch yesterday's video for proof positive that that's just more or less a slogan at this point and doesn't bear any scientific relevance anymore. Relevance? That's not a word. Unvaccinated workers will no longer be eligible to receive up to 2 weeks of paid emergency sick leave if they get sick with COVID-19 variants. Okay, cool. But what if you just get sent home because you got some Karen that you work with on shift? It's like, that person has the sniffles. You have to go home. We don't want you to be around here and get sick. And it's like, well, there's more than just the coof going around. You know, there's like the seasonal flu. There's just a simple fucking cold, which a lot of the symptoms have in common with Omicron. But whatever. Kroger, the country's largest grocery chain. Oh, it is the largest? Oh, okay. Employs about 500,000 employees who interact with as many as 9 million customers daily across the nation. Yeah, it's a fucking grocery store that didn't have to close a single day during the past 2 years. We are modifying policies to encourage safe behaviors, including vaccination. Oh, okay, cool. Encourage vaccination by telling people that they have to go home if they get sick and then not paying them for doing so. Cool. Let's see if this flies past your union, which we continue to incentivize with a $100 payment for all fully vaccinated associates. Oh, okay, cool. Only unvaccinated managers and other non-union employees on the company plan will face the $50 monthly surcharge. So non-union employees? Oh, okay, cool. So that's how it actually works. God, by doing this type of just really fucking nickel and diamond shit, you're starting to add credence to unions once again, who would actually, band against this. And this is what unions were supposed to be used for at their inception. But unions have become so large and bulky and just completely and utterly corrupt that now they're just once again is reinvigorating that whole union argument. It's like we almost solved all of this shit. But then over the past couple of years, it's just all of the different problems, the race problems, the union problems, the different big business, or the big business and the big government problems. They just get recycled back in there because we just about had it all fucking figured out. But now that's not going to be the case any longer. A $50 surcharge will be implemented on January 1st, 2022. See how long that sticks around, and only apply to salaried associates who are unvaccinated. Oh, okay, so desk jockeys. Okay, still doesn't make it any more acceptable, but I don't think that anybody who's fucking punching numbers on a till anymore are salaried employees. I'm just going to throw that out there. Who are unvaccinated and enrolled in the company's healthcare plan. Oh, okay, cool. So you have to qualify for healthcare benefits, and you also have to be on salary. Okay, cool. Well, Coof leave will no longer be available for unvaccinated associates. We continue to offer a variety of forms of leave for associates who may contract the virus. Okay, cool, but what if it's just suspected and you just get sent home anyways? Oh boy, there's going to be more lawsuits flying around when it comes to this shit, including earned paid time off, and the ability to apply for unpaid leave. Cool. Only fully vaccinated workers who get the Coof variant will still get special sick leave. Cool. So just get the jab, but if you still get sick, then we'll look after you multiple times over. But whatever. Like I said, this is as bad as it's going to get, and we'll see. We'll see if this ends up sticking around, because they said that it's going to be implemented at the beginning of the new year, but I think the unions might have something to say to that, even though they're not talking about any union employees there, but I'd imagine they could be fighting back against this for a multitude of people anyways, so we'll see how this goes, just as an overarching legal argument, because as soon as somebody gets sent home without pay because they don't have the jab, and then it's been suspected that they might be in contact with the Coof, and then that's a violation of healthcare policies, that could be a violation of the employment contract, and we could be starting to see, like I said, some very interesting lawsuits fly around. But you know who's actually avoiding that? One of the big champions of Joe Biden. He's a big fan of trains, mostly because they're simple, like him. Amtrak suspends COVID-19 vaccine mandate for employees. Chief executive says that's fucking great. Passenger railroad operator Amtrak said Tuesday it will suspend COVID-19 vaccine mandate for employees and no longer expects service disruptions in January. Yeah, it's almost like they're going and taking a look around and saying, hey, you know what? We're going to go back to normal. And if you guys are all right with that, we're just going to do that. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Amtrak chief executive Bill Flynn said in a memo obtained by the Epoch Times that employees who aren't vaccinated can get tested instead. Okay, fewer than 500 Amtrak workers are unvaccinated, he said. How many people work for Amtrak? That's a big is that like a significant amount of people? It would be if there's like 600 workers, but again, who gives a shit? Just fucking go back to normal, stupid. Informing Amtrak's decision was a recent federal court order that halted the enforcement of the executive order of federal contractors. Wow, I wonder where any sort of foundation for that came from. Which caused the firm to reevaluate its policy towards vaccine mandates. No, if you just listen to the press secretary and the other propagandists that are out there, no, even though it's getting struck down, there's a legal basis for it. No, there isn't. No, you should just go ahead and implement it anyways. Be like Kroger. Come on, be like Kroger. It means Amtrak will revert back to its original vaccine mandate that it announced in August, which allows for regular testing of unvaccinated workers, Flynn said. That will allow for testing as an alternative to getting vaccinated. Hopefully you just fucking take your vaccines and stab them into your fucking eyes, because they work oh so well, right? Overwhelmingly vaccinated, Cornell University shuts down campus as Coof cases spike. And again, get the vaccine because it helps you out and it keeps you safe. Even though, once again, when you have a fucking campus that's virtually 100% fucking vaccinated, okay, because we're going to get to the numbers here, 97 fucking percent, okay, 97% of their population has been vaccinated, okay? And the rest of them have received exemptions and jumped through the necessary hoops, or I don't know, just said, I'm black and I don't need it. And they're like, okay, we don't want to be called racist. Jesus. They're closing their doors and going to virtual learning because everybody's seen this was going to happen again, obviously, okay? It's like you got one of the fucking bigwigs at one of the big jab merchants that are out there saying, oh, super COVID's on the horizon, ah! Yeah, sure. They were always going to find a way to lock everybody down again, okay? And they're starting with the universities once again. Just that's where all of these terrible policies always seem to gestate before they end up hitting the mainstream. So why wouldn't they be locking down the kids again? It totally fucking makes sense, at least to me. Just a few days before the end of the semester, Cornell University is shutting down its campus and moving final exams online because of a recent surge in Coof cases among the overwhelmingly vaccinated student population. Wow, safe and effective, right? In a message released Tuesday, Cornell President Martha E. Pollack told the campus community that the university's surveillance testing has continued to identify the rapid spread of COVID-19. What's your excuse? Oh, it's those unvaccinated people. Okay, 97% of the overall population of Ithaca, New York campus has been fully vaccinated. So what's your excuse? That 3% is just tyrannizing the majority. Ooga booga. Sure. That includes 100% of the professional faculty. That's probably, one of the mandates. Most of the universities have one of those mandates to begin with. 93% of other employees and 99% of the undergraduate students. So again, we don't know what other employees is. So 7% of them, okay, you have 1% of undergraduate students and 3% of the overall population in general. So as of December 12th, there are 469 active student cases. Oh my God, including 214 newly confirmed positives. How sick are these kids? Doesn't really much matter. We're going to close down the entire fucking campus because 469 people are sick. And remember, this is all because of those goddamn people just wouldn't get jabbed sooner and wear your mask because, once again, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. It's in New York. It's on a university campus. There's probably a mask mandate as well. But yeah, science, right? Science, safe and effective. But this isn't about your health. This isn't about keeping you safe. This isn't about any of that shit. It's about compliance. It's about getting you on Big Pharma's tit, okay? Because if you aren't taking antidepressants, if you aren't taking whatever the fuck else they want to keep you on, they want to keep you living out of a fucking bottle in perpetuity forever and ever and ever. Get the jab. Every 6 months, get the other jab. Now, eventually, take a pill, okay? Because Pfizer says COVID-19 antiviral drug shows 89% efficacy. Wow, I remember when the vaccines were 98 and 97% effective as well. Wow, nothing to fucking see there, of course. Potential again, and it shows potential. It shows potential against Omicron. That'll be the way that they'll get in there and say that, hey, if everybody doesn't take these pills, guess what? There's going to be a new, more deadly variant. It could combine with the UK variant, or the one from Japan, or the one from Brazil. Okay, and it could create ultra COVID. Dun dun dun. Pfizer's experimental COVID-19 antiviral treatment is available to reduce the risk of hospitalizations or death from the China virus by 89%. Wow. When taken shortly after initial symptoms. Wow. So remember, this disease is so deadly and so fatal. Sometimes you can test positive and feel totally fine. It's fucking weird, right? But shut down the world because of it. The company announced on Tuesday in its full analysis of the data from the trial. Are you going to show any of the data from that trial, or are you just going to tell us it's 89% effective? We tested, shut up. Don't ask any more questions. U.S.-based pharmaceutical company's final testing results from the drug known as Paxlovid, remains consistent with an interim analysis it published last month. Cool. Albert Bourla, he was saying something stupid earlier last week, and I can't quite remember, but whatever. Pfizer's chief executive officer said in a statement, the treatment also appears to be effective. Okay, cool. Appears effective against the Omicron variant. Oh my God, emergent variants of concern like Omicron have exacerbated the need for accessible treatment options for those who contracted the virus, and we are confident that the potential treatment could be critical to help quell the pandemic. again, does it stop the spread or is it a symptom mitigator? Because you aren't going to stop anything. Like if you guys are still concerned about cases, because that's a shifting goalpost on this. One day it's deaths, the next day it's cases, the next it's hospitalizations. Now, because like one person in the United Kingdom have fucking dropped dead. Cool. Okay, I think it might be up to 2 now at this point. How many people are hospitalized? 10. Really doing great fucking work out there. But if this doesn't help with spread, it just helps with apparently reducing the risk of hospitalizations and death. What the fuck are you accomplishing? Okay, because there's also alternative methods where you can just, kind of mitigate the symptoms as well. Some shit that's been out there for a very fucking long time and has been in use for multiple other different treatments that you guys just really won't fucking allow out there. And even if, you just eat a fucking balanced diet and you exercise properly, you just supplement properly. Take a look at my second channel for more information when it comes to supplementation, and then a couple of videos specifically on the Coof that are over there as well for more details on that information. There are certain things that you can do to keep yourself fucking healthy, and that's what this should be at this point, okay? Now listen, when we thought that this was going to have a smallpox rate of dropping people off like 30%, yeah, maybe cause for concern, okay? Maybe you take a step back and you realize and you start to assess what you're working with. But when you realize it's 0.01% for most of the fucking population, okay, cool. It's time to flick the lights back on. It's time to be just fucking cavalier about this. Know your information and fight back against these cocksucking tyrants, because until you do that, they're just going to keep taking more and more and more and more. More companies are going to be like Kroger, okay? Don't think that, because I work at a small business, they're going to stop. Biden was going to be going after your small businesses too. Never forget that, okay? That was on track, okay? And if it wasn't for the federal courts and the appeals courts that were just finally knocking that shit down, you take a look at some of the rulings that hit the Supreme Court. They don't give a flying fuck about any of this stuff, okay? Oh no, that's for the states to decide. Oh yeah, cool. Constitution is just up for the states to decide. It's not for the Supreme Court to talk about. But that's John Roberts, Supreme Court. What the fuck do you expect? That dude doesn't want to make any waves. He just wants to sit there on the bench as the Chief Justice for as long as fucking possible. Thanks, George W. But don't rely on the courts to save you from anything. They are the most unreliable ally when it comes to anybody in this fight. So know what you're talking about, know who you're fighting up against, and yeah, be relentless in your steadfastness. And we got some more court cases, funny enough, that we're going to be talking about for the rest of the day. We got some interesting developments when it comes to the parents in the Michigan school shooter charges, because that case is completely fucked. And then we got a wrap up of some other charges and some other very weird developments that I think are going to be interesting, because enough with the outright serious stuff, but we're probably going to talk about a school shooting next, so that's pretty serious, and especially when it comes to the judicial overreach and the chargings that are happening there is fucking insane. But with that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.